All of our exploitation cannot be fixed with physical violence. Somebody tell men that. It seems like the men are having a hard time with this, but you're not going to be able to fight your way out of vulnerability. Here is Katt talking about P. Diddy.
They offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need another one. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man. Katt.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, but you know, some of these people...
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner. You my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together. We gonna do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my motherfucking word, my nigga.
Clearly, I've really been trying to really, parse through the Katt Williams obsession with not being in a dress, not sucking any dicks. We get it. We get it. You don't want to suck any dick. I support that. I know straight women who don't want to suck any dicks, okay? I get it. Not me, though. And not wanting to participate in anal sex, okay? There's something overtly homophobic about that. But as I like to talk things out with people, particularly people who are in the entertainment industry or aspire to be in it. Katt did not express this in an appropriate way, in a way that I can really get behind, because the homophobia is just oozing. It's just oozing, That fragile masculinity that he's trying to critique is also just, you cannot keep it under wraps. But there's also something really real about a culture of sexual coercion in the entertainment industry that maybe those of us who are not in the entertainment industry just are not super familiar with. And so when I am trying to get a better grasp of why is Katt Williams talking about not sucking dick 10 times in this interview, and you talk to people who have some kind of experience, went to LA, are in LA, went to New York, are in New York. It is not just for women that there is a culture of sexual harassment and coercion. And most recently, we saw that with Christian Keys, who came out on Instagram and alluded to a really famous man who has a lot of money and power in Hollywood coming onto him in a way that made him uncomfortable. It appears that kind of stuff is very common, very rampant, super widespread, and there's just not space or desire for men to talk about it. And when men discuss it, it becomes a Terry Crews situation where they try to talk about a culture of sexual harassment and coercion that is not gender specific, but then they get ridiculed, tarred, feathered, demonized. It's, men seeking to emasculate other men because they are victims. And this is one of those conversations that maybe Katt does not have the tools, to really dive into in a really thoughtful, really meaty way. But in addition to, I don't want dicks in my mouth, there's something else there. In light of the Cassie situation with Diddy, it feels, even though you gotta tell him no. I'm sorry, that's funny. I'm sorry. It is. You gotta tell him no. Certainly, I would not. And, after that Cassie situation, after they settled, then I think there was a completely fake story about Diddy and, TD Jakes, fake, people just saying whatever. But I would not be surprised at all whatsoever if if you spent any time reviewing Cassie's complaint against Diddy, I would not be at all surprised if that happened to all kinds of people of all genders. And is there gonna be a reckoning of that kind of stuff with men, especially black men in Hollywood? Probably not. Probably not. But in his own just, ridiculous way, Katt brushed up against that. The men of B2K tried to tell us as well. Right. So, exactly. I remember Raz B getting ridiculed for trying to talk about what he experienced as a child. And by the way, y'all still owe Raz B an apology. There's been other people who have said, I've experienced this, and they just aren't taken seriously. Katt specifically named Harvey Weinstein too. There's definitely something there. Katt is not going our champion of saying things with class, but the essence of the message is there. And we have a problem with sexual exploitation in this industry. Yeah. Terry Crews was even more bashed because he is dark skinned and big and muscular, right? And it's like, I'm always talking about the nuances and complexities of power relations. Shout out to intersectionality, because if we don't understand how power relations and our access to power, or our um ability to be exploited and be vulnerable, is so based on where we are located at any particular time, then you immediately go to, well, why didn't this big, strong, former professional athlete knock the shit out of this slight gay white man? Why did he not do that? And it's because, well, power is more complex than that, At that time, that what that man might have lacked in stature, he more than made up with in actual material advantage, absolute power, the ability to dictate whether or not you work again. All of our situations, all of our exploitation, all of our oppression cannot be fixed with might. All of our exploitation cannot be fixed with physical violence. Somebody tell men that. like it seems like the men are having a hard time with this, but you're not going to be able to fight your way out of vulnerability, systemic exploitation, marginality. You're not going to be able to do it. I don't know what to tell y'all. You're not going to be able to pay your way out of it. I don't know what to tell y'all. Read some fucking black feminist literature, okay? That's all hey. A lot of them are coping in the public or through the public, even because of how much power we have. Oh, I remembered now. Okay. Yes, Dwight Howard. This is what I wanted to talk about. The homophobia stuff. And the reason why homophobia is such a scourge and so dangerous. So, a couple of months ago, these accusations came out about Dwight Howard being violent, right? Coercing a gay man into having sex, sexual assault, essentially. And it was so telling. It was so telling to me that the conversations about Dwight Howard were, is he gay? Is he gay? I thought he was with Royce. I thought he did this. I thought he did that. I thought he has kids. Is he gay? Rather than, is this man a rapist? It's crazy to me that in 2024, people are still so shocked and fixated on sexuality that if you read the actual story about what that man says Dwight Howard did to him, it's crazy. It's disgusting. But instead of being like, this is fucking horrible, get this man the fuck out of here, we have to have conversations about whether or not he's gay and whether or not he wants to wear women's clothes. Grow up. I think part of why people believed Cassie was because for years people have been saying Diddy coerces men. I think that a part of the reason why people believe Cassie is because of how she shows up in the world. Because all kinds of people have come out with stories about Diddy. All kinds of people have been talking about Diddy and his professional practices and what he does in private. I think how well constructed, and detailed Cassie's complaint was, in addition to her keeping a relatively low profile at this point in her life, in addition to people just find it easier to sympathize with people who look like Cassie.